I don't even know. Just thought I'd get on and go over a little bit of the reasons why I chose to homeschool. And I honestly feel like there was a couple years that are just like chunked out of Noah's life because of the school setting. And I'm like, oh, how do you get these back? You don't. So let's just start from, even if your kid's the best in class, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're on it, they get the extra work, they're the teacher's favorite. They're still being held back to the slowest kid in the class. You know what I'm saying? There still has to be some gauging to kind of put them at a balance to where these kids can keep up and these kids ain't getting bored. And at the same time, like, it don't stay balanced. We know that the kids who need the extra attention, or the kids that, you know, are striving for that negative attention, or the kids who just don't want to be there or don't feel good, are always moved up closer, while the kids who are on task and can do are in the back and not being flourished and pushed to their best of their ability. So it kind of it's just demeaning. So with that being said, I was always confused with how at the end of the year Noah was finishing at the grade level above him. You know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, he's tested out, he's done these things. And then we get over to a different school and it's just like he's behind and everything. I'm like, how did he magically fall behind? You know, it's just not understanding. And then, you know, the next year it's like, okay, let's wait 8 weeks. And it's like, oh, they're failing in this. Well, it's like, I talk to you every day. I'm here every morning and every afternoon. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for me to be curious. And when I'm asking how they're doing, oh, they're doing okay. Oh, he's doing okay. Well, today there wasn't a task because he was getting messed with in class. And it's like, okay. And then it's like for Nadia, it's like, well, the class was a little rowdy today, so not anybody got any work done. It's like, but that didn't show on her grades. It shows on his grades, but it don't show on hers. So it's just kind of like, how did we figure this in? But on top of just the basic creepy stuff, I've said this before, your kids are going to school with other kids' energy. And no matter what you do as a parent, it's only as good as the next parent to their child. Because we are born into this human life with still the full ability to feel others. You know, our empathy is like us just, it's just there. You know, unless our home life has caused us to shut down that side and not feel other people's pain, which it does, then they're kind of like have this numbness. But when they get around other kid energy and they feel people that are good to them, they're like, it sparks and there's sparks, and they don't know how to like get it to fully turn on. So now they're just left with these little inklings of emotions, these little inklings of feelings that they don't know how to process because they're not being flourished at home. So, and for the kids that are being flourished at home and having to live with kids that aren't being flourished at all, it's like feeling that energy get pulled down, and it's just like watching a spark in somebody and then watch it not take off is heartbreaking. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they don't realize why their friends or the other kids in class are sad or depressed or can't function or won't function, whatever the case may be. And it's just, and all this we're telling them here and absorb this knowledge. And then on the outside, because most of us at home are now telling our kids the truth, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, that didn't happen that way. But yeah, you're going to still learn in your test books. I remember being told that when I was in school. That's not how it happened. All right, well, this is what I got to say happened to get an A. So I have to lie to get an A. Now I'm telling my kids, like, okay, just copy the information and give it back. But most of those are lies, so don't grab them as truth. And that gets confusing. Like, why do they want to learn it? They're like, if this is a lie, why am I learning it? You know, it's just a lot to take in. And I'm not saying homeschool is the best alternative option, because I don't think that we should be so segregated and so kept to ourselves. Like, that's what sets us up for, you know, not knowing and fearing other people. So it's not like the greatest tool that we have in our society, but it definitely is one to where, you know, if your kid's not getting the right information or your kid's not getting the right education, then it's like at least that's an option, because we do have these classes and these meetings to where the kids can go and flourish and they can be, you know, in the same atmosphere as their peers and still get that social time and still learn that balance that, like, hey, not everybody's going through the same thing that you're going through. Some are a little worse, some are a little bit better, but it's still the fact that we have to learn to gauge with people so we can grow with people. And that's still, it's a good thing. But we really need to change the way we think about school and how we send our kids there. And it's just like thinking about how if we were taught what a curriculum is and we were taught how you could be a kinesthetics learner, you could be a visual learner, you could be an audio learner, like all these different ways to learn. And we actually nurtured those in ourselves before we became parents. And then as we send our kids to school, like as we're working and we're growing and, we're having this slower start to where we appreciate the small years, these developing years, these 0 through 5 years, and really like get to know our children and how they flourish. And it's like we send them to school saying, okay, well, this is what we've figured out and this is what our kids like, and the school should be this mountain of more information to get it, so we're coming to the bottom of the mountain, right? And it's a huge just compilation of people that are there that know how those kids learn. They're like, oh, we have a whole group of kids like that over here, and we have a whole group of kids like that over there. And we teach them in their groups that they learn with, and then we go do activities to where it's like every different kind of learner is needed to pass these exams. Not one person is needed to pass an exam, but we need one of each group to pass it, because life ain't always going to be the way you learn, and life ain't always going to give you problems that you have the solution or even the formula to. And sometimes, you can get the formula and still come out with your fucking wrong math. So I really believe that school should be a place to where we encourage and flourish our own, learning and our own greatness and our own, just belief that feels good, that learning that feels good, that I accomplished this. Like, we don't have much to look back on to show what they've accomplished. Like I said, even if they're the hardest kid in class or the easiest kid in class, it's all set to a generalization. It's like you got kids who are getting extra work and then they're kind of mad, like, why doesn't everybody else have to do that? But then they just do it because it's like it's easier to them, but they're still not understanding, like, is this a punishment? And if I always work hard, am I always gonna have to work harder than everybody? It's not seeing that the other kids, that they work hard in other areas, or that with the areas that the smart kids are like slow on, like some of these kids are like really great at, and it's just like trading our strengths and sharing our strengths instead of just being an individual and be like, well, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. It's like, why can't, this is what we can do. So going forward with the homeschooling topic is, I think that we should be able to give more work when the kids like process, and on that it's just like keep going, flourish in that. You're good at that. And then it's just like when they're struggling, let's stop for a day. Let's spend, 5 or 6 times going over it, and let's ask different people to explain it, because the way I'm explaining it may not be your way. And if you're stuck with the same teacher for a year, he may be explaining stuff that you don't understand that whole year. So the great thing about being at home, obviously it's a smaller classroom, it's only my kid, is catching that fact that it's like, wait, he didn't get that, so let me explain it. Let me try to explain it a couple ways, and then if that still ain't hitting, he can't get 100%, let me have somebody else explain it. So we know, and we've complained for a long time, that our teachers don't have time to do that. They've known and complained for a long time that they can't teach kids when they're teaching 30 of them, and a lot of them, they're dealing with emotional stress on being their psychiatrist, not just their teacher. And then I got to learn how to be some of their friends, and then some of them I have to teach them how to be their discipliner. Like, the roles of our teachers are not there to teach, and that's why we're not getting the education that we deserve. So grab your kids, really look with them, look into homeschool curriculums, look what it is, start questioning our schools, start standing up. We're taking money from our schools all the time, and everyone's like, oh, let's vote on it. But you can write a bill, and you can put forward papers to say, we want this to go forward. And, there's a lot of things we can do when we come together. But homeschool is definitely something to look into in the groups and the activities, and keeping each other together, and that way when you do take your kid to socializing time, they're spending time with kids who like and think about the same things. They're choosing the same activities, so that they have that in common. They're also going to school or going to classes for a smaller time and a more structured setting. So it's just like it's focused on the activity that they want to do, not just like, okay, I'm here. Like, they ain't learning nothing. They're just there. You know what I'm saying? So there's that aspect of it that's just like, when we're going to a place that we love to be at and we're flourishing in, we're going to treat people different. We're going to be excited to be there. Our vibrations are going to come higher. So there's no way, there's no reason for, kids to be in there feeling depressed or sad, because it's like, they chose. They said, hey, I like this. I'm excited for this. I'm good at this. Look at my A, Mom. Like, and I know there's a lot of parents sitting out there that have those boys coming home, and some of those are girls coming home, then it's just like, here's another D, and here's another, didn't get their work done, or off task, or, it's just like not thinking smart. And it's just, how many days are in a row are we going to say, you didn't make it today, you didn't do good enough today, and think that they're going to grow up and be these confident, self-fucking motivated people that are like, I could do it all. Like, they're not going to feel like they can do anything when they've been told, you're barely getting by. It's a barely getting by lifestyle. So, I don't know. It's time to take responsibility and read to our kids and know our kids, and not know our kids in the light of what we've taught them to be, but know our kids in the light that they've chose to stand in, period. I don't care if you're their parent. Their choices on who they're going to be as a human is their choices. It's your job to offer the fruit bowl for a variety of ways for them to be, and let their moral compass and let their heart choose what's best for them and how to get onto this path of loving and accepting each other. So, read, research, look up curriculums. There's a lot out there. Some are free. Khan Academy, I'm new into. Just there's a lot of things out there that are there to educate adults, not just children. And just plan it. You know what I'm saying? Plan, talk out with your kid what their goals are, what they like in life, what they're excited for, and say, hey, there's an opportunity to, go get all the work and work as fast as you can go, or work as slow as you need to go on certain subjects, and for you to get introduced into college prep, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then we can eat away at some of your college credit during your high school years, or you can do 4 years of high school and then go into college classes. Like, there's options, and there's options on a fast track, and no matter what learning ability you have or what learning disability they say you have, it is going to be right for you, because we're going to tailor it to your learning. So, some of our greatest minds were never even taken to school. They had to struggle to learn how to read, and they had to struggle to learn how to write, and they just struggle to get their ideas down for the rest of the simpleton to understand. So, I mean, life is not always the easiest, but there definitely is a way. And your education and your brain and the way you put things together, nobody else can do the way you do. So we desperately need you to flourish in you and be happy about you and be excited about what you have to give to the rest of the world. It's just that time to stand up and take our power back. And what better way to do that than to give our power to our children, and to share our power with our children and let them know that we're proud of them and then we love them. And, it's just like, sometimes we stumble, and that's okay, because we got to learn how to keep going. We got to learn how to get up only by falling down. So let me dust you off. I said it yesterday when we were talking about the addictions. It just, if we loved and supported and encouraged each other, maybe we wouldn't have to go so much for, these addictive ways. But it's the same thing I was just talking about when a kid's getting told that they're not doing good every day. That's an addictive, you're addicted to just being a failure, and you're addicted to that lower vibration, and that I'm not enough, and I'm depressed, and you're addicted to those racing thoughts, those nagging, ugly thoughts that tell you that you're garbage and you don't deserve, and you're never going to be good enough, so why even try? Why bother? And nobody loves you, nobody supports you. Like, what? That ain't the case. That ain't what's going on here, I'm telling you. So, love somebody, support somebody, build somebody up. Read. No matter if you understand it or not, read it and talk to somebody. That's the best thing to do is talk to somebody. Get out there. Say what you're thinking. You ain't going to know you're not alone unless you say what you're thinking about. I'm just saying, you can hashtag it and prove to yourself that you're never alone. Hashtag any emotion you're going through, and there's thousands and billions of people going through the same emotion, maybe at that moment or a moment before, and they can offer advice, or they could be like, you know what, let's stand here and just, I don't like feeling like this. I don't like feeling like that either. Okay, I'm going to flourish you, you're going to flourish me, because sometimes it's hard to flourish ourselves. So that's why we stand in each other's light. You shed light on me, I shed light on you. And together we'll beat the darkness. I don't know. Love your babies. Love your babies enough to not care about anything else other than, their education and their excitement and their love and their growth. That almighty dollar, the risk to the benefit, I don't think we put it on a proper scale. I think the scale is broke, because it's definitely a greater risk than it ever was a benefit. I love you guys. Take care of yourself. Love those babies. Love those babies. They're going to rule the world. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be next. Let's build them up proper.